Capitalism did its big one by romanticizing motherhood when it's really a position of perpetual labor. All the things that mothers are expected to do are things that you can hire someone to do, but mothers do it for free. Proliferating this idea that everybody needs to have children through the messaging of like, you need a legacy, you need to leave something behind, allows capitalists to get access to a perpetual labor force. This really works out in their favor within models in which mothers stay at home, because instead of outsourcing all the care that goes into taking care of a child that would really need an entire team of nannies, tutors, cleaners, drivers, etc., you would need separate jobs for that. Instead of hiring all those people, they just have the mother do it for free as part of loving her child. And that way they don't have to pay the father who is at work any more money, because the children are being taken care of for free instead of having all those tasks and services outsourced. And if you end up being a single mother who does have to outsource some of these services, then capitalism also has the perfect answer to that. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Why did you choose the wrong man? That's where patriarchy comes in, because capitalism and patriarchy work together. So you get nothing, even though you are investing in the labor force that will eventually make several corporations really rich, aka your child. Anytime you take care of your child, you are investing in the labor force for free, and the corporations are so happy. I truly wish everybody in that compilation video is able to find peace, find the resources, find the help that enables them to get through this. And if you're watching this and you're on the fence about having children and you don't know what to do, if you're on the fence, it's a no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Motherhood is a job, like being a teacher, being a lawyer, being a mother. You don't have to take that job. You don't have to take that job. Just like you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a mother. It's just a job in society that has been romanticized so that men and corporations can have access to birth givers, tutor, nanny, cook, etc., all in one, in you, a single person, doing 20 billion different jobs for free. Always comes down to the money and to capitalism.
Okay, so almost half of women are apparently going to be childless and single by the year 2030.
Dude, good for us, honestly. That's amazing. I love that he presented that article as if women becoming happier and more content with themselves is a problem we need to solve. And I think it's hilarious that all these grown men are so upset by this information that keeps coming out that women are becoming like happier being single and childless now. And I want to talk about it today because that man rambled for almost 4 whole minutes and he did absolutely everything but understand the point. That yes, statistically, women are starting to poll as happier being single and childless. And there's a lot of reasons for these statistics coming forward, right? A big one is that we're not out here having to deal with the emotional labor of a relationship that never seems to be equally placed upon a man. But then you see all these men who, for some reason, can't wrap their mind around the fact that women are happy single. And that's because statistically, men poll as happier in a relationship. They're miserable without us. And so they do what this man did in his 4-minute long video and they get upset and they think they need to come in and save these women who aren't asking to be saved. And they blame feminism, they blame women, they dance around the point entirely. They tell themselves whatever they need to rock themselves to sleep as they cry at night, completely missing the point and knowing that women are out here happy. We're just fine. And because you know what? Same. I make myself go on a date every 2 to 5 months, just to get back in there, give it a try. You never know what could happen. Maybe I'll meet the love of my life and everything will go amazing. But it's good to always put yourself back out there every once in a while to see. And it always ends up going one of 2 ways. First is that we're just not compatible, totally normal, we move on. And the second one is if things work out, we get into a little relationship, right? It usually goes like the last boy I dated. We dated for 3 or 4 months and almost every day after work, I would go over to his house. And no matter how my day went at work, right, I would just be happy to be off and get to see him. But it wasn't the same for him. It seemed like he was never able to just leave work problems at work, which is fine, right? I'm always here to help, support, vent. But it started to feel like he was having a bad day at work almost every day. And then he would come home and kind of take it out on me. Like he would dump it all on me and then I would have to deal with fixing it. Or he would be starting arguments, just whole bad mood vibes. It always became my emotional labor now too. And the thing is, the door never really swung both ways. I was always expected to be there to tend to all of his needs and whatnot, but he was never really offering the same thing to me. And I find this happens a lot in relationship with boys. One day I had an amazing day at work. I came home so excited and he just came and ruined my mood entirely. And that was the day I looked around and went, why am I putting up with this? I am raising a man who would not and does not do the same thing for me. And whilst there are some benefits to having someone around, right, I stayed this long, I was overall on a general baseline just happier being single. So now about a month or 2 into every relationship I have, I sit down and I have to ask myself, were you happier before this relationship started? And so far, mostly every time the answer has been no. It was way better being single. And certainly a lot less stressful than adopting a 27-year-old man-child. And y'all can keep making videos crying and trying to blame feminism and women all you want, but at some point you're gonna have to look inward. I also don't know why he brought money into it. In this economy, most people want a partner who makes more money than them. The last boy I went out with literally said he wants to be a stay-at-home dad and have his wife bring in all the money, and I get it.
If this woman doesn't want kids, the world is her oyster. Because remember, I feel like a lot of times the biological clock drives women into making hasty decisions, right? But if this intentionally single woman is not even wanting kids, now she really can take her time, right? Because she doesn't have to think about the fact that she wants to have kids by a certain age, and so she needs to get married by a certain age, which leads her into just giving people chances left and right when she really could have just taken her time.
So there are multiple studies that show that the happiest, healthiest demographic are women who are unmarried without children. And as a primary care doctor, I could have told you that a long time ago, honey, because the number of married mom patients that I have that are suffering from chronic diseases because they're so busy taking care of other people, they're putting themselves on the back burner, is astounding. On a daily basis, I see this. They would like to eat healthy, but other people's preferences come first. They don't have time, or they're too tired to exercise or take care of themselves. The number of times I have to talk to people about being selfish, being aggressively self-care motivated is really, really sad, because we have all these societal expectations that women and moms, they have to just, prioritize other people. But you know who does the best? Who's healthy? Married men. Compared to single men, especially, because guess what? Guess whose spouse is dragging them to the doctor's office when they're sick? Married women do not have the health outcomes that married men have. What does that tell you? So single, childless women, you have it good, more power to you, okay?
Y'all would never convince me that not having kids is not a flex. Y'all would never convince me that not having kids is not a flex. Okay? We see it. We see a lot of y'all poor decisions. Because a lot of y'all have kids that ain't got no business having kids. We see that. Okay? So I need y'all to stop. Being able to get up and go as you like is a flex. Being able to spend your money on what you want to spend it on is a flex. Being able to have your house be intact and do nice things without having to worry about stains all over and smell all over is a flex. Being able to have discernment to control your womb and not give it to any and everybody. And for the men, being able to have dick discipline and not just nutting up in everything with a pulse is a flex. Being able to plan your life out and execute it flawlessly without any disruption of 9 months is a flex. A lot of y'all poor decisions be beating the hell out of y'all nowadays. Y'all would never convince me that not having kids, especially if you chose to not have kids, that is a flex. If you operate with discipline, that is a flex.
Welcome to a day in my life as a lazy, child-free woman. Since I don't want to hustle or have kids, I'm essentially worthless to society, which means I get to wake up whenever I want in the morning without an alarm. Then the first thing I usually do is make myself breakfast and coffee or matcha to eat outside, enjoying the peace and serenity of a child-free home. Then I'll quickly check in with my team, post to social media, and respond to anything urgent before selfishly heading to Pilates. I love prioritizing my physical and mental health, so most days I'll go for a walk, yoga, or Pilates in the morning. And my favorite thing is checking my phone afterwards to see how many sales I made without actually working. On this day, I met my mom for lunch, and since neither of us had any plans for the rest of the afternoon, we ended up just yapping for about 3 hours before I headed to my massage. I ended the day by walking to the beach for sunset and then came home to cook some fajita bowls with my husband, followed by my favorite Ninja Creamy, and finished the evening with some Real Housewives before bed. Honestly, what a perfect day. I know the words lazy and child-free tend to trigger people, so just a friendly reminder to touch grass today and remember that the happier you are with your own life choices, the less that you care about what other people are doing. Like and follow for more.
I'm a woman in her mid-30s and I do not have a child, and I feel very content with that decision. I do want to have a kid eventually, assuming that that's possible. Who the heck knows? Never given it a try. But I do have a question, because although I'm comfortable with taking time for myself and living kind of, selfishly right now, wanting to travel and live my life for as long as I can, child-free, I wonder if there are any parents out there that think to themselves that they wish they had their kids sooner because they're just so in love with that little creature that they wish they had more time with it overall in their life. Like, that's a really sad thought, and I also feel weird asking that, but because it's sad, it is what makes me wonder if I should be thinking that way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's very difficult to imagine actually having a little infant. I think that until you're a parent, you would never have those thoughts. And so I guess I'm just wondering if that's a common one amongst those with a child.
What is with this mindset that we need as adults to have 1,000,001 responsibilities in order to be seen as an adult? Like, I don't understand, because I'm constantly hearing from some parents that child-free women are escaping responsibility as if that's a bad thing. Like, you're not a better person just because you have taken on 1,000,001 responsibilities. You're just an adult, a human being with 1,000,001 responsibilities. And I'm over here with like 4 responsibilities, right? Keep a roof over my head, pay my bills, keep food on the table, and live my best life. Like, those are my responsibilities. That's it, right? And I'm sensing it's giving jealousy. It's giving envy, right? Because what does that have to do with you? What is with this obsession that you need to be stressed to the max, have no time for yourself? You got to run here, you got to run there, you got to run everywhere, you got to do all this stuff. You got to have all these responsibilities, you got to have all these bills in order to be seen as a real full adult. Like, I'm not understanding that. And you guys are taking a look to the left and you're taking a look to the right, and you're realizing that there are people around you that are not struggling at all, any way, shape, or form in those ways. We're just not, right? And you feel that you need to, shit on that because you wake up stressed, you have an autopilot ass life, and you're mad that some of us don't. Listen, you had the same choices we had. A lot of y'all, you could have chosen to not have kids. You could have chosen not to make your life harder than it had to be, but you chose to fall in line with society. And I think that's what y'all's real gripe is about. You fell in line. You thought you had to go down this road. Now you're seeing other people around you that didn't go down that road. We dared to be different. We dared to stand in what we wanted for our lives individually. And you didn't. And now you're jealous. Now you're mad. Now you feel some kind of way. The only thing I can hope for you is that you go heal. As Beyonce said, go call that reverend, right? Go sit on somebody's fucking couch. Pray. As my mom used to say, go pray, right? You got to do something. But getting on social media in our comment sections and trying to make us feel bad about the fact that we're not real adults because we don't have 1,000,001 responsibilities. Yeah, boo, that ain't it. That's not going to work, because I'm still just going to wake up with my 4 responsibilities to your 1,000,001.
A day in the life of a childless woman. The point is to make you feel good about being an aging, deeply unlikable woman who never had kids.
The room resembles a dried up tumbleweed blowing down an old western town.
This lady is miserable. I mean, she is miserable, and it's written all over her face how miserable she is.
I just don't think at this age I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
embrace it.
My name is Pink and I'm really glad to meet you. You're recommended to me by some people. Hey, ooh, is this illegal? Hey, ooh, it feels illegal.
I am booked up, David. You should see my schedule. I'm positively bedeviled with meetings.
Oh boy.
Welcome to a day in the life of a real housewife of Dallas, and no, we don't have kids. First thing I gotta do is tackle this breath because my morning breath, ooh, we is lethal. Ooh. Next thing I do is take this hair down because I gotta get these 28 inches right. Then of course I gotta pick out an outfit because your girl got to look good. Then what I like to do is take about half of the perfume bottle and spray it all over my body. Then I make the bed. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, then I scroll on Amazon because that's part of my work day. After this, I make me a little breakfast because the last thing I want to be is hangry. I had to go get these nails taken care of because I had about a 2-inch gap between my cuticle and my nail. Oh, look at that thigh though. It made absolutely no sense to go get a hammer for this nail, so I just used the drill. After that, I filmed the try-on haul for YouTube, and look at these looks. Ooh. Slaying it! It gets better every outfit.
And my man, thank you to my man. And my man, thank you.
Dear triggered parents of the internet, let me put this very simply. Me saying as a child-free person that I don't want to flex my entire life around you is not me saying I think you should be more flexible for me. I completely understand your life is inflexible. What I don't like is when you think you own my flexibility, when you think I owe you my free time. But let me tell you this, I'm asking you to not get mad at me when I don't want to go to all of your kids' birthdays every year. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to not prioritize your children. I'm not saying you shouldn't prioritize your children. I think you should. I'm not saying I don't like your children. I'm not saying I don't want to hang out with your children. I'm saying, as a person who chose to have no children, I didn't make that choice so that I could spend every Saturday of mine at a child's birthday party. And that doesn't mean I sometimes don't want to be at that birthday party. But if I don't want to be at that birthday party, don't be upset with me. I can respect, support, and love and cherish our friendship without me being present for every child's milestone. Because after all, I didn't choose my life of flexibility in order to give you all my flexibility. I chose my life of flexibility so that I could be flexible for other priorities. It's okay that you prioritize your things, and it should be okay that I prioritize my things. Believe me, I know your life is inflexible. I know that it's hard. That's why I don't want to have children. That's the point. It is too much for me. Call it selfish, but to me what would be selfish is me having a child and not really wanting to have the child. So I'm going to say it one more time. My post is not about you as a parent having to flex for me. My post is about just because I'm not a parent doesn't mean I always have to flex for you.
One thing I will never understand is when girls say that they want to live a soft life, and when you speak to them about what their version of a soft life is, it includes being a mother. Being a mother seems like the hardest job in the entire world, so having mother and soft life in the same sentence has never made sense to me. I say soft life, I mean I make my own money, but I spend my husband's money. I never have kids. We see each other when we want, but live separately. Responsibilities, just see each other when we want to go on holidays, spend time together, have fun. These days men just want to move in together, they want to have kids, have responsibilities, and I'm just not about that because that does not sound like a soft life to me.
I don't know where people got this idea that because I'm a stay-at-home wife I don't work, but let me go ahead and debunk this for y'all so y'all can see what a day in my life is like. I wake up at 8 every morning and I start off the day by going to say good morning to my man in his office, which I actually need to clean. That's on my to-do list. I'm a nosy neighbor and one of of our neighbors' Airbnbs is placed, so I gotta make sure ain't no ratchet stuff going on outside. Once I make sure everything is safe outside, then I make up the bed. After I make up the bed, I do the usual, brush my teeth, wash my face. This is just my diffuser to make the bathroom smell good and set the vibe. I don't always dress cute when I go to sleep, but this is my favorite nightgown. Like, it's just a big t-shirt that I wear to sleep. Ugh, my favorite. Then I pick out my clothes for the day. I know I owe y'all a closet reveal, but it's not done being decorated, so please wait on it. And then I get dressed for the day. And I head downstairs to see what kind of mess my husband has made since I've been asleep. And I open up the shades because he never does, and I like natural light in the house. Then I water my ivy. Now it's time to get to work. The kitchen looks a mess from the night before, so yeah, let's go ahead and clean up. If you want to keep a clean house, there's 2 essential things that you need to do. Don't have a husband and don't have kids. I love my husband, but I swear the house would be so much cleaner if I lived by myself. Also, not to bash men, but like, why don't they know how to clean the kitchen properly? They never wipe off the counters, they never clean out the sink, and I just don't understand. My man won't even start the dishwasher. Anytime he asks me if I want him to clean something for me, I'm like, no, I'll do it myself. Next, I go upstairs because I need to make a call to order some new windows for our investment property and get ready because I have a photo shoot today. My birthday's this week, so I'm going to take some cute photos for my Instagram. Stay tuned for the photos. We headed downtown to shoot with my girl Changa, and then after that we came back home because I had a call with a YouTube coach. After my call, I left the house so I can head to Home Depot and a chemical store to pick up a few things for our investment property. Went back to pick up my husband, and then we went to check on our house. Here's just a little peek of the house we're renovating. I was starving by this time and I wanted sushi, so we went to get some. And we had a little private dinner because the restaurant was empty. We had mocktails, food, and laughs to end the day. And this is how a stay-at-home wife with no kids enjoys her day.
I turn 40 next month. I'm from the South and also Latina, so I didn't receive pressure about children so much as it was assumed it was a done deal and expected of me. No woman from either side of my family has not had children. I am the first. Rather than the common "you'll regret it" attitude, I got the "you'll change your mind" sentiment. I went so far as to have my eggs frozen at 34 to appease my family, but the biological clock factor being off the table just gave me more clarity, solidifying my decision further. It just wasn't for me. It was that simple. I never felt like I was missing out because I've always been so fulfilled. So what did I do with my life? I've been living in Europe for 5 years, currently living in the heart of central London. I work for a big tech company, earning in the top 1% of women in the UK. I have friends from all over the world who enrich my life beyond words. I travel constantly, averaging 1 new country each month. My life is always full of new experiences, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. My advice to women who are child-free or on the fence is to surround yourself with other child-free people and to hear about their experiences. I used to think I was crazy for wanting a child-free life because there was no one else around me who felt the same way. As soon as I tapped into other women who felt like I did, it was the biggest wave of relief to know that there were people out there who related to me, and all of them happy.
Ladies, isn't it funny that men say that single mothers have no value and then turn around and say that those of us women who don't have kids have no value because we have not yet produced a child? It's almost like they devalue all of us so that we compete against one another instead of realizing who the real problem is, which is them. Just something to think about. The only way that we can improve our conditions is by having radical empathy for one another as women and by really banding together and loving on and taking care of one another. Because when you really think about it, your friends have likely done way more for you than any man that you've ever dated before. And without expecting anything in return, just because they love you. Lean into your friendships and your relationships with other women, ladies, and do not believe any of the lies that men tell in order to make us compete with one another.